I work on this talk that I do every week for you, usually on Saturday night or Sunday morning. Spend a couple hours working on it, focusing in on it, thinking in terms of where we are, what we need to do to try to work to get to the next level. And I wrote down here, it's not talent, intelligence, or natural ability that determines the quality of a person's life. It's not talent, intelligence, or natural ability that determines the quality of a person's life. I wrote down, your life is mostly determined by your self-image and what you think of yourself. And what you think of yourself. The belief, as I thought about it more, is reflected in the goals that we set, the persistence that we display. My persistence with you, starting way back in October, to help you have a spectacular end of the year, to push, to pull, to prod, to encourage, to motivate, to do one more transaction, to take one more listing, to talk to one more person. And I wrote down here, we need to display this focus and this consistency in our objectives, whether we did the activities or we didn't do the activities. It's how we feel about ourselves if we had accomplished those. I wrote down, to enjoy living an extraordinary life, we must force ourselves to constantly have written goals for short and long-term reasons. So I gave you, every week I've been giving you out a weekly goal sheet. How many days work? How many contacts this week? How many listing appointments? How many sales? To stay focused on that goal. You see, I believe we have to make the connection between the activities you're involved with, the doors you knock, the phones you call, the people you talk to, the activities you're involved with, and the results that you're getting. Activities and the results. And that's what we're focused in on right now. If we're not doing most of what we're supposed to be doing most of the time, we're not going to get the opportunities. And if you don't get the opportunities, you're not going to list the property, make the sales, and have the great end of the year that you want to have, the super Christmas that you want for you and your family, and you're not going to have a great first quarter. And what's the first thing that comes up after you've had the end of the year and you're working at the end of the first quarter? What's the first thing that jumps out at you?
Pay taxes.
What is it?
Pay taxes.
Taxes. It's the 15th of April. It's really weird. Every year it comes. It's there. And I hear this in February every single year. Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I said, well, you had a great year last year. I know, it was terrific. But then I, because of complacency, slowed down a little bit toward the end of the year because I did the proverbial deep breath. And then I didn't make the calls. I didn't talk to the people. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And I didn't get the listings. And now I don't have the pendings. And now here comes the 15th of April. And son of a gun, every single year it comes. It's like clockwork. It's the weirdest thing. I wrote down here, you have to have the ability to make the connection between the activities you're involved with and the results you're getting. You need to make many contacts over time. Many contacts daily over time equals good results. Low contacts over time equals what? Low results, poor results, no results. Good constant follow-up over time equals good results. Poor sporadic follow-up over time equals lousy results. There's the key. The key is in the follow-up. Write that down. A lot of you make the first call. A good portion of you make the second call. Yet you're not making those continuous calls over time. I wrote down most agents lack a strong lead follow-up system. They prospect for business and don't follow up. They prospect for business and don't follow up. I wrote down here 95% of your success or failure starts in your head. 95% of your success or failure starts in your head. If you do what others won't do for 5 years, you can do what others can't do for the rest of your life. Think about what that says. If you'll do what others won't do for the next 5 or 6 years, you can do what others cannot do for the rest of your life. Write this down. I talked about it this morning on the call. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. Hello? Almost half of salespeople never follow up with the prospect, the lead they got. And every single one of us out there is guilty in our sales career of getting a lead and never following up on it. Every single one of us at some point. 50% of the people that prospect never follow up. 25% of the salespeople make a second contact and stop. 25% of the people make a second contact and then they stop. 12% of the people make 3 contacts and stop. Wow. Most don't make any. Less make 2. Very few make 3. So we're starting to already, if you're already doing 3, you're kind of standing out there by yourself for most of it. And 10% of the salespeople make more than 3 contacts. 10%. So in this room, if there's 100 people, 10 of you make more contacts. 90 of you don't. Now, why is that important? Write this down. 2% of the sales are made on the first contact. 2% of all sales are made on the first contact. 3% of all sales are made on the second contact. 3% of all sales are made on the second contact, and 5% of all sales are made on the third contact. So if you're doing 3 contacts, you should be getting
10%.
5%. Okay? And then 10% of all sales are made on the fourth contact. But here's the key. Most sales are made when? On the 5th to the 12th contact. 5th to the 12th contact. Some of you go a couple of times. A few more of you go 3 times. A few more of you go 4 times. But this is saying that you've got to go 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 times before you get it. Now, in the past few weeks, past couple months, we talked about you going and digging out your old leads. Some of you have spiral books where you keep a lead in. Some of you have sheets of paper. Some of you have your purses that you keep a lead in. It's all organized. Some of you on sun visors. Some of us, I happened to find a business card actually the other day in my coat. I found a business card of an agent. Somebody had given me an agent to follow up on, and I found their business card in my pocket. Shame on me. But that's what happens sometimes, right? That's what happens sometimes. You get busy, put the card in your pocket, you put the card in your purse. You put the card on your sun visor. I don't want to ever forget it. And then you bring the sun visor down because it's really sunny and all these cards fall on you. Dale Carnegie says, inactivity breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, don't sit at home and think about it. Go out and get busy. That's what we're talking about right now. And we're still talking about it. There's still time to do business. I want to give you a secret. Can I give you a secret?
Yes.
So some of you, because I've been pushing so hard, are going to run through the finish line, are going to go and work up to December 31st, and you're going to do that, and congratulations. I applaud you. Okay? What I'm concerned about is that you might take that deep breath and slow down. Okay? Well, okay, I'll take a couple of days off. I'll take a week off. I'll do this. I'll do that. So let me give you a secret. When do real estate agents come back to work after the first of the year? January 4th? Come on. Okay, so the first is the bowl game. We got to watch the bowl game, right? Iowa and who?
Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl. Iowa and who? Stanford. There you go. Okay, we've got to watch that. So that's the first. And then the second, what's that, a Sunday? Sunday. Don't.
Wins the Super Bowl.
And then the fourth, I know, is Monday, because we're kicking back off. We as a company are kicking back off on Monday. That's the fourth. When the Arista real estate agents come back? January 10th, January 15th. Few more.
After the Super
Do you know that most of the real estate agents won't be back until about the 15th of February? True story. Okay? So, yes, absolutely. Great for people like us. But you can't take your foot off the pedal. You've got to keep this up. Keep this focus going. You take off Thanksgiving. For those of you that took off Thanksgiving, great. But you want to take off a day or two. I get it. Take a 3-day weekend. I get it. But some people take off a week in between the holidays. It's a kiss of death. It's a kiss of death. Don't do that to yourselves. Not as the market's starting to shift. They're talking about 2016 potentially being the best year we've had since 2006. Okay? That's the conversation. We don't care, do we? No. We don't care. In fact, I personally prefer that business be a teeny bit off. Why? Because the agents, the competition goes away. They can't take it. They can't take the heat. They don't work on their skills. They don't work on focusing on what they're supposed to do. They don't work on their job. Look what happens as it just gets closer to the end of the year. The agent population went from this to this. It did, and you're feeling it. You're benefiting it with sales and listings right now. You're benefiting from that. Absolutely. So, here's what I want you to do. We're working hard, really hard, on trying to get people to list and sell right now, right? Say yes. Yes. Really hard. And we're closing 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 on that, trying to get them to do that. And yet, some people are resisting your great sales skills, aren't they? So, I've talked about this before. I want to confirm that you're doing it now. Make sure that you create a yellow pad of paper. Just take out a yellow pad of paper somewhere, go buy one, take it out, put on the top sheet, and start to create a list of the name, phone number, and address of anyone that says they want to do something after the first of the year that you can't convince to do something now. Okay? You can't just write it down. You have to close on them and close on them and close on them. But after you've done that, and there's nothing else you can do with it, create a list. 15, 20, 25, 30 names, 40 names. Wouldn't it be great if the January 4th, when you come back to the sales meeting here, on January 4th of next year, if you had a list of 30 or 40 names and phone numbers of people who indicated they wanted to do something after the first year. Now, those people might not do something in the first week or 2 or 3 or 4. You might have to keep that list for the first 90 days or so. But you keep following up on that list and make sure that you now have these opportunities. And if you create a list of 30 or 40 people that you have to work on, and only 5 of them turn into money, it's not a total loss, is it? Wouldn't that be great? To have a list of 25 names and actually have 5 or 6 of those turn into real money in the first quarter? Beats a sharp stick in the eye, the way I figure it. So what we have to do right now is we have to get out there. We have to knock more doors. We have to make more phone calls. We have to do more follow-up than we've done in the past. We have to crank it up a little bit. You've got to take the opportunity when it comes. And right now, it's here. My goal for you is between now and the end of the year for you guys to get a minimum of each of you to take 1 listing a week for the next 3 weeks. Think about that. Okay? Now, it doesn't sound spectacular. And 1 listing is, that's not a... 1 listing. In our markets, it's worth anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 to you. That would give you 3 by the end of the year. And if 2 of them sell in January and February, you just picked up an extra $20,000 to $30,000 from taking this one little idea of talking to a few more people, asking a few more questions, and working just a little bit harder. I'm not asking anyone to work more than a 5.5 day work week. I'm not asking anyone to work more than an 8-9 hour day. But then again, we work for ourselves, right? I wrote down here the start that stops most people. Here's the problem. The start that stops most people. A great philosopher once said, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with what? 1 step. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with 1 step. John Maxwell, great business coach, said that success is a journey, not a destination. Success is a journey. It's not a destination. If you combine the two, you create the success journey begins with what? A single step. The success journey begins with a single step. Even if you haven't done what you're supposed to do in the last few weeks or the last few months, it doesn't matter. What matters is if you take action, massive action, today. That's what stops most people is what? The first step. That's what stops us is taking the first step. That little step separates abundance from failure. That step from abundance to failure. Without the first step, you are guaranteed not to accomplish your objective. Think about that. If you don't take the first step, what's for sure going to happen? Nothing. And they're not going to get there. It's really weird. Sometimes we don't plan for the future, but we really think that somehow, and I'm not sure how this works, but somehow when we get to a retirement age, there's going to be enough money. No, really. Because this is really hard for you guys in the 20s to get, okay? But us in our 50s and 60s, we get time's running out, okay? And if we didn't do what we were supposed to do back over here, putting money away, buying some properties, having some equities, etc., then when you get over here, whoa, yet we don't take that first step. The first step is to do the activities. The activities will get us the leads. The leads we turn into appointments. The appointments we turn into listings or sales. The listings or sales we turn into closings. The closings we take some of the money and put it away for tomorrow. When you get enough of that money, you buy yourself an investment property, put a nice down payment on it, and get the tenant to pay the mortgage off over the next 10 or 15 years. That's the program, ladies and gentlemen. But it takes the first what? Step. Without reaching out and picking up the phone and knocking on the door and making the first lead follow-up call or prospecting, we are assured failure in this area. 100% guaranteed. Cannot happen. It's that one motion of picking up and dialing the first number that separates winners from losers. Picking up that phone, knocking on that first door, working on your script or dialogue. You're afraid to door knock? You don't know what to say and how to say it? No problem. We can help you. You don't know what to say and how to say it on a phone call? Don't worry about it. We can help you. But you need to take that step. You need to raise your hand and say, hey, help me so that I can do these things for myself and my family. In terms of time, think about this. In terms of time, it's less than 2 seconds. 2 seconds to reach down, pick up the phone, put it to your ear. 2 seconds. In terms of time, it's less than 2 seconds that will determine your outcome. Do it. Don't do it. Go door knocking. Don't door knock. If you took a listing this week, great. But go get another one. If you didn't take a listing this week, then take the leads. We got a bunch of leads generated by you guys today. You didn't get a lead? Guess what? After this class, there's another 4 hours before it gets dark. Yeah, it's true. And when it gets dark, did you know you could still call after it's not my idea. I heard this somewhere. I'm just sharing. Yeah, you could. Take the opportunity. Pick up the phone. Talk to the people. Work on it. If you didn't get one, let's go out and get a listing this week so that we all can have for you. You can create for you, for your family, a little better holiday, a little better time during the holidays. Won't it be nicer if you have a listing or two more during the holidays than you do now? Won't it be nicer, much nicer, if that listing or two actually went pending between now and the holiday? Maybe it can't close. I get it. It's possible it can't close. Although we're doing a number of cash deals that are going to close before the end of the year still. Okay? Still possible. But you have that opportunity. Wouldn't it be just a little bit nicer holiday for you and your family? So get up, get going, take action, and make this the best week you've ever had. Thank you.